Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, back in the house with another edition of NFL Sunday Wake Up. It's Week 14 in the National Football League. We're getting closer and closer to the end. Things are heating up on and off the field. And on today's show, we got lots to talk about. I got to talk about Zach Wilson and his reluctancy to get thrown back in the starting lineup. The Jets have really screwed the situation up yet again with their quarterback position. And you know what? I think Wilson isn't all to blame. And what's next for him moving on next year? We're also going to be talking about the biggest game, probably again of the year, between the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles coming off of an ass whooping last week against the 49ers. And now they got to travel on the road to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys for the NFC East. It's at stake. It's at stake today. My power ranking is going to break that down for you guys and also preview every game today and Monday, and then close out the show, of course, with my clutch picks of the week. So listen, pull up a seat, relax, enjoy yourself. This is NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Welcome back in. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy holidays to you all as well. It's a busy time of year. Of course, we got football. You got Christmas shopping. I'll be on vacation next week. So I got to figure that out as far as what I'm doing next week for the show. Maybe I might have to do a little pre-recording, but we'll figure that out. I'll let you guys know on my social media channels. If you guys are watching the show live for the first time, welcome in. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you do below at Clutch Sports Talk Podcast as well. Hit me up on the Grid Network and subscribe to both of those YouTube channels. You guys will not be disappointed. And if you're in the show watching and you're subscribed, you don't know everything I've asked you to do, make sure you guys drop a comment. And as usual, we already got my guy in here, Patrick Brown. He's already saying, good morning, watching my favorite NFL show, Long Live the Grid. Let's go Cowboys. Here we go, right? With Dak Prescott, right? So appreciate you, Patrick, for tapping in this morning. But like I said at the top of the show, man, listen, well, first of all, let's real quick. Let's kind of migrate over to the NCAA college football real quick. Shout out to Jaden Daniels for winning the Heisman Trophy last night. Excuse me. Pretty stiff competition, but he beat out a lot of really good candidates. So shout out to him. He's from Southern California, from the Inland Empire to be exact. So shout out to him. I know his family is excited, and he had a great story. I mean, listen, he's like a fifth-year senior, played at Arizona State, transferred. A lot of his ex-teammates said he sucked. And then he ends up going on to winning the Heisman Trophy a couple years later. He really proved himself, and I really think his draft stock is going to rise. I can't wait to do a Clutch Combine video on him in the offseason when that time comes. So that'll be fun to look out for him. So, but congrats to him. Also, shout out to the ladies at the Power of Connection podcast. I was blessed and had the opportunity yesterday to co-host one of their episodes. So shout out to Sandy and Shelly. Appreciate you guys for having me on again. I was on their show as a guest myself a couple months ago, and then they asked me to come back and co-host the show. So shout out to them, and make sure you guys check them out at the Power Connection podcast on Instagram, and the YouTube will be coming out for them shortly too as well. So all right, appreciate that. All right, let's get down to business. All right, so we're going to talk about Zach Wilson. Now, it was announced earlier this week that he's going to be back in the starting lineup. The Jets have made a quarterback shuffle. They released Tim Boyle, I believe, for some other guy, Ripken Jr. or something like that. But anyway, nonetheless, Zach Wilson's back at starting quarterback. Okay. Now, there was a report that leaked out saying that he was a little bit reluctant on being the starter again, and rightfully so. Zach Wilson has been kind of beaten up and battered. Now, I get it. He was a number 2 overall pick in the 2021 draft. And with that, there's a lot of expectations that comes with that. Now, he hasn't performed, but let's be real. He was drafted by a team that really doesn't have the greatest infrastructure in quite some time. And then, he got benched 2 or 3 times last year. He got benched a couple times this year. And then what happens? They bring in Aaron Rodgers. He gets hurt 4 plays into the season. And then now they're like, well, Zach Wilson is the guy again, right? So, and then oddly enough, Robert Saleh had a press conference this week, and he said, basically, we know Zach Wilson is our guy here for now. He gives us our best opportunity to win. And then reporters asked, well, why did you bench him? Well, and Robert Saleh said, well, we need to do something else, right? So because it wasn't clicking on offense. Okay, whatever. But this guy, the Jets have really bumbled this situation. for sure. And if I'm Zach Wilson, now he came out and was adamant about saying, you know what, I love this team. I never said anything like that to anyone in this locker room. Yeah, in this locker room, who knows? Maybe he mentioned something to someone outside of the confines, or maybe he said something reluctantly or jokingly that maybe could have been taken out of context, or maybe he really did say it. And he's just kind of like, no, I never said that, because he's still in the locker room with these fellas, right? So, so yeah, if I'm him, I would be pissed off. Like it's every minute. It's like, okay, you're the starter, you're not the starter. You're the starter, you're not the starter. And he did give them the best chance to win games this year, right? Their offense just sucks. Period. And I don't know why it sucks, because you have, offensive rookie of the year in Garrett Wilson. Brees Hall, although coming off of a severe leg injury, he still had some juice. Now, the offensive line was not addressed in the offseason, which we all knew that was going to be a problem, and it still is a problem. But then they bring in a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers who gets hurt on the fourth play of the year. And then now you're thrust back into Zach Wilson, right? They didn't address any of the backup situation because they felt, well, Aaron Rodgers is going to be here for the long term. And guess what? He wasn't. He was out. And now you have to rely on Zach Wilson. Now, the biggest problem right now I foresee with Zach Wilson is his contract situation. Now, he is in his third year of a 4-year contract with a fifth-year option. He's already been paid out at least $22 million in guaranteed money. So he's been paid. He's been paid, and he's still due to make about 8 to 9 millions next year. So you could cut him, right? But you'd probably rather trade him. But whoever trades for him is going to have to pick that up. And no one's going to want to do that. Although he may have been talented coming out of BYU, there's still a lot of question marks around him. I don't think he's all the way that terrible. I think he's just been put in a bad situation. You have a defensive-minded coach who basically the organization, they picked Robert Saleh, was a really nice candidate, of course, right? Coming out of San Francisco, defense was great. And their defense is still good, right? But offensively, they just can't get it. They're inept. So here is Zach Wilson, gets the job. He gets thrown in there and really no protection. He's running for his life every day of the year. And then he's benched. He's back on. He's benched. He's back on. And then he's being told, well, he gives us the best opportunity to win, but then I'm being benched at the same time. So I'd be pissed if I was him. Okay. And then you got the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. And what's to say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have this epiphany again, where he wants to go away in the dark for 40 days and 40 nights and sip on some ayahuasca again, right? And make a decision on what he's going to be doing. And the fact of the matter is, I feel like when Aaron Rodgers came in, he did what he normally does in regards to what he did in Green Bay. He strong-armed that organization. Hey, bring this receiver. Okay. Hey, I want Nathaniel Hackett to be my OC. Nathaniel Hackett cannot be an offensive coordinator anywhere in the National Football League at this point without Aaron Rodgers. He's not proven. And I get it. Maybe Zach Wilson, well, not maybe, he isn't Aaron Rodgers, but my gosh, as a coach, you have to find a better way to call plays based on the skill set of your particular players, okay? And Nathaniel Hackett just really can't do it. And so the Jets are kind of like in a weird state, is that you got Aaron Rodgers, who's not getting any younger, right? He's going to be coming off the Achilles. He's not coming back to play this year because their chances are done. They're not making the playoffs, okay? Simple as that. And then what do you do with Zach Wilson next year? I mean, by all means, you might have to just cut him. And if I'm him, I would want to be cut anyway, because guess what? I can go wherever I want to go. Maybe he goes to Kansas City. Maybe he beats the backup at behind Patrick Mahomes, or somewhere else where he can go and maybe grow and learn, right? He does have physical talent and traits that will allow him to be a quarterback in the National Football League. Maybe not a starter per se, but someone in the league that you can count on. We've seen glimpses of it. But in New York, it's not going to happen for him because they're inept offensively. Again, not a big fan of defensive coaches. They just can't get it done offensively unless you are going to hire someone that you really trust on the offensive side of things to handle that. And of course, Robert Saleh, he doesn't have that guy. He doesn't have that guy. His whole tenure there, he has not had that. And unfortunately, he probably will be let go at some point, if not this year, probably middle of next year somewhere, because they're not going to be performing the way that they need to. And the New York media is a little harsher than most places. And Aaron Rodgers is going to feel that sting too next year, because if Zach Wilson isn't there, who will be the scapegoat? Not Zach Wilson, because he probably won't be there, right? So it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers has not felt this type of scrutiny or scorn from any type of media, especially not coming from Green Bay. Well, welcome to the Big Apple there, Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see what happens with him. But what's next for him 2024? I'm hoping that they cut the guy. I really do. I really do. Um, and we're getting comments here. Patrick says the O line has been the biggest issue, another wasted season, and there's no real resolution. And then Barry Grant from the All Even podcast says this is a Joe Douglas issue, not an Aaron Rodgers. I kind of disagree. I feel like it's a little bit of both, right? Because you went after Aaron Rodgers if you're the GM and Joe Douglas, and really I would have not gone after Aaron Rodgers in the first place. Okay, he's 39, 40, whatever the case may be. He's not that dude anymore. He may win you a couple games, right? But he isn't that same guy, okay? And I'd be remiss if he came back next year and be like, "Oh, he puts up numbers again." And he could be, I don't know. I doubt it because in I guess in fairness to Barry's point, Joe Douglas has not supported the offensive side of the ball in this particular case. Defense, they're locked in. They're locked in, man. So I don't know. I really feel like this organization is poorly constructed, and they they just don't have the right pieces from the leadership all the way down onto the playing level of the field. So I don't know, but Zach Wilson, he's not all to blame. He's not all to blame. I get it. When you're drafted that high up, people expect a lot from you. And listen, let's be real. A lot of these guys don't ever pan out to be or live up to that expectation of where they were drafted. Okay. But in certain cases, especially like this, when you have talent, it's not like the Jets don't have talent on the offensive side of things. They got talent. O-line sucks, right? And you don't have a coach that can really maximize the talent on the team offensively. Um, and then Barry says, what does he say? He says, you got Aaron and never short up the line. Well, of course. Yeah, of course. And that's a problem. And like I always tell people, you have to build your team from the inside out. Okay. Inside out. It starts on your offensive line and defensive lines. And they did not do that. And they knew that very well going into the situation. But why? Because, again, indirectly, it revolves around Aaron Rodgers. Oh, we got Aaron Rodgers. He's okay. He can make the right checks. He can switch the pass protections. He's a veteran. He's a two-time MVP. Blah 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 blah. And they felt like they can get past that. But as we saw, now he got hurt on some type of random play. It wasn't really because of the protection, but still, nonetheless, if it didn't happen then, it was going to happen at some point this time. So I'll leave it at that. So Zach Wilson, get out of there, man. If you can. If they're like, hey, dude, we'll cut you, please cut me. Please cut me, because no one's going to trade for you at this point, because your contract is just too high in value for anyone to really take a shot on that, especially if you're going to be a backup in the National Football League. So Zach Wilson, get out of New York while you can. Go somewhere you can learn a little bit, man. Maybe get your weight up a little bit, and learn some offensive skills, because you're not going to get that in New York. Okay. Couple comments before we move on. The Jets went all in this year and had no real backup. Worst case. Yep, I agree. And Becton has not panned out. Yep. Oh yeah. what a waste of space that guy is. As large as that dude is, he sucks. Sorry, Jets fans. And I was really rooting for the Jets this year. God knows I was. On Sunday morning, I say, man, I hope the Jets do something this year, because I'm tired of the Bills. I'm tired of some of these other teams in the AFC. I was hoping for a change, but I guess we weren't going to get it this year. So unfortunately. All right. Moving on. Biggest game of the day. Sunday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. The battle for the NFC East is on the line tonight. The Dallas looking to improve to 10-3. Right? 10-3. Yeah, 10-3. And the Eagles right there, man, they had a terrible loss yesterday. If they lose today, they'll be 10-3, right? But the question is, and I'm not going to give you guys my prediction on this game yet, but my question is, who is under the most pressure to win this game? Now, you got Philadelphia coming off of a terrible loss last week to a really good team at home. Not even terrible. That's an understatement. They got their ass whooped last week against the San Francisco 49ers. And of course, the Eagles fans out there, they're just like, well, just regular season game and blah, 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 like the gaslighting, things of that nature. Listen, you took the L, move on, because if you guys had won, you would have been all over social media talking your heads off like, no, we won, fly, Eagles fly, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You guys are still a good team. I'm not going to discredit you. But they ran into a buzzsaw last week, okay, which was the San Francisco 49ers. So they have a lot to prove this week, okay, because number one, if they lose this game, they're looking up now like, wait a minute, we beat the Dallas Cowboys a couple weeks ago, November 5th, if I'm not mistaken. And we pretty much, at that point, a lot of people thought that they had a stronghold on the NFC East. And now you're looking up, and now the Cowboys are right there if you lose this game. Okay. And then that kind of puts the Cowboys up in that levels where they can still maybe seize the number one seed, which is going to be difficult for the Cowboys because they have a tough schedule this month and to close out the season. So I don't really see that, but that's another conversation down the line. But as far as the Eagles are concerned, they have a lot to prove because Jalen Hurts, although he hasn't played like terrible, but he has not lived up to how he played last year, especially in that Super Bowl. So something's going on with there. I'm not going to say that they're horrible because they're not horrible, but I think a lot of people are still living off of what they did last year, especially offensively. Okay, so there is some pressure there. All right, and then you look at the Cowboys, who listen, it's the Dallas Cowboys. There's always pressure when you wear the star. What's the saying? Heavy is the crown. Heavy is the head who wears the crown, and that's usually the star. If you're a Cowboys fan, if you're a Cowboys fan, whether you and I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but there's a lot of pressure because if you're a Cowboys fan or you're a Cowboys player, everyone's looking at you and you're going to get the highest scrutiny that you can from everybody, from media, from friends and family, from God knows whoever, if you associate yourself with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, to me, personally, I think the Cowboys have the most pressure on them, right? Because all the eyes are going to be looking at them. Why? Because they finally just beat a team over 500 last week Thursday against Seattle, and it was hard. You know what I mean? It was hard. Whereas the Eagles, they've beaten teams this year. They beat up on the Dolphins. They beat the Bills close, so they had beaten them a couple teams. They beat the Chiefs, teams that had winning records. Now, can the Cowboys put it together in back-to-back weeks and beat their divisional rival, who is also a winning team? That's a lot of pressure. Can Dak sustain what he's doing? Dak has been looking sensational the last couple of weeks since that loss to San Francisco. Can he maintain that? Can he keep going to CeeDee Lamb? Can he keep going to that well? Because, like I stated last week, the offense runs through Dak Prescott. It's not this running game anymore. It's through him. And right now, I feel like he should be the lead candidate for the MVP. Then Tyreek Hill, and then maybe you want to talk about Brock Purdy, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys have a lot more pressure on them because here's the thing: if they lose, it's gonna be, oh my God, they can't beat anybody. They only beat up on bums, And on top of that, they've won like 14 games in a row at home, which is a really crazy stat for them because considering AT&T Stadium has not been really a friendly place to the Cowboys as far as environment, right? A lot of home visiting teams come in there with their fans. They take over the stadium. So for them to win 14 games in a row at home, that's a big statement on the line for them. Because here's the thing. We know that the Eagles can find ways to win games, and because that's what they've been doing all year. Can the Cowboys come out and win a game they need to win when they're just as good as the Philadelphia Eagles are this year? For sure. And if anyone wants to disagree with me, then we can have a conversation about that because yes, I still think the Eagles are talented, of course. And this is the problem with social media. Like they hear one thing, oh, he's just talking about. I'm not saying they suck. They're a very good team. But the Cowboys are right there, step for step. And if it wasn't for, as Barry Grant eloquently said on the 8 o'clock spot the other night, for his big ass foot, the Cowboys probably would have won that game. Now, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I don't want to live in that world, but the Cowboys are right there. So to me, there's a lot more pressure on the Dallas Cowboys to win this game, to get the job done, because they need these wins. Because you got Philadelphia, you got games against Buffalo, Miami, Detroit. And then I feel like you got the Commanders to round out the year. So there's a lot of pressure on the Cowboys to get this job done, where the Eagles' schedule is a little bit easier. I believe they got the Giants mixed in there, Commanders mixed in there, and I believe Seattle somewhere around there. So, it's a lot of pressure for them, especially if they want to win the East, which I think it's doable, but it has to start tonight. They have to get this win tonight, just for confidence wise. You can't go down to a team and lose to them twice in a year. That's just disheartening. So if I had to pick, I would have to say the Cowboys have the most pressure to win tonight. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit later on in the show. All right, moving right along. Let's talk about some power rankings because it switched up a little bit here, man. So, of course, I got the Niners at number 1. They have battled back. They've been up and down for 3 weeks. They sucked, right? They had a lot of injuries. Brock Purdy didn't play as well, right? But now they're just out there whooping people's asses and taking names. Okay. So I got them at number one for this week. We'll see. Believe they got a bye. Are they on a bye this week? Right? No, they got Seahawks today. I'm sorry. Excuse me. We got the Seahawks today. We'll see how they do at home. They're heavy favorites in that game. I believe it's like 13 or 13 and a half. So shout out to them Niner fans. You guys can celebrate. You guys are at number one in my power rankings. Not that it means anything. Hold on one sec. Excuse me. All right. But Baltimore Ravens, they're right up there, right? Baltimore Ravens, man, listen, I like what they're doing. I had a lot to say about Lamar Jackson, who's quietly putting together a really solid year this year. He stayed healthy, knock on wood. Now, they did lose Mark Andrews, who I feel like that's a big blow to them. But Zay Flowers is kind of filled in very nicely. Will it be enough for them? I think they can get it done in the AFC. The AFC, really, man, it's wide open. Going into the year, we all thought like, oh my God, the AFC is like a juggernaut. Man, I don't even know. I think the NFC is probably better this year. So funny how the tables have turned. So I got them at number two. I got the Eagles still at number three. I'm gonna give them some love, just a little bit, just because they're still the defending champs. They've won 10 games so far this year. Now they got shellacked last week, and they know that. They know that. Well, maybe they don't know that because I saw an Eagles fan on his show basically say, "Oh, it was nothing, whatever." That was the Niners Super Bowl. Like that's just such a douchebag thing to say. Like just hold the L and live on it and just wait for it to the playoffs. Okay, just don't try to sugarcoat it. A loss is a loss. Okay. Because I bet you if they win tonight, oh my God, da, 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 da. But if the Cowboys win, oh well, whatever they. So I don't like that with fans. Like just hold the L. If you hold it, hold it. All right. But I got them at number three. They're still finding ways to win football games, so shout out to them. Then we got the Dallas Cowboys at number four. They can catapult the Eagles tonight for sure if they can get this win. And especially if they do it in convincing fashion, I might put them at number two. I don't know. We got to see how it plays out today. But the Cowboys definitely doing something. They finally got their first win against a 500, a team above 500 last week against Seattle. And granted, I get it. Seattle's not going far. That's still a tough team. You guys always hear me talk about it. Pete Carroll always has those guys ready to go. All right. So that was a tough win last week for the Cowboys, but they got the job done. And then I got the Miami Dolphins in at number five. They're kind of like the Cowboys. Really haven't beaten anybody yet, right? And every time they've had that test, they failed, right? So the Cowboys, this is their second test. I don't think the Dolphins got the Titans, I believe, Monday night as well. So not much of a test. So I don't really know about the Dolphins yet, to be honest with you, man. Like I have to see them play against somebody good. When we seen that against Philly, they looked really bad. Against Buffalo, they got blown out. So I don't know about them quite yet. But offensively, if they're hitting on all cylinders, they're tough. They're tough, man. They're really tough, and that's the reason why I have them in at number five over the next team, number six, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're struggling offensively. Patrick Mahomes, pedestrian year so far. I don't think. I think they don't have the weaponry. They just don't have the guys out there to get open. Travis Kelce is borderline almost retired. He's hanging around with Taylor Swift now. God knows what she's got going on in his head. All right. And they just don't look the same. Now, their defense is better, right? Then I think the defense is carrying this team this year, where it used to be the other way around. The offense would carry the team, and now the defense in reverse has carried this team. So that's a little concerning for me. Although Patrick Mahomes is still a great player, but he don't look that great right now because he's throwing to like random dudes. And Pacheco's not playing today. He'll be out against the Bills, so we'll have to see what happens with them today. But I'll talk about that game. That's one of my clutch picks of the week. So we'll put that on the back burner here. 1 second here. Get some H2O. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars at number seven. They can be sliding now. Trevor, he was not ruled out yet. It's probably going to be a game time decision. That ankle looked really bad the other day. They lost at home to Cincinnati with their backup. That's not a good look. And I know Trevor Lawrence went out the game. I understand that, but still, there was a little bit higher hopes for this team. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're good. But are they in that upper echelon of teams in the National Football League? Probably not, especially without Trevor Lawrence. So I got them at a number seven. And then the Houston Texans. Who would have thought And again, I'm not a fan of defensive coaches, but D'Amico Ryans, man, a lot of people were like, why did he take that job? Like, the Texans, they suck. The organization is not great. Who wants to be there? Look how they treated the last coaches there. You know what it is, man? He got the right quarterback. Once you figure that out, man, the rest of it is kind of easy for the most part, or it helps. Now, Tank Dell is out for the years. Prayers and condolences to him. You got a broken fibula. So, and he's been having a sensational year. Him and CJ Stroud have been on the same page all year. Now, they still got some talent. Nico Collins putting in a tremendous year as well. Who else do they got over there? Dalton Schultz really doing his thing. Between Pierce and Montgomery running the ball, and offensively, Will Anderson leading the way with sacks on that team. They're not a bad squad, man. They're young. They're probably my second team I like watching just because of the youth on the field, and just I like watching CJ Stroud, man. Like he's a great, phenomenal player, and I really like what he's doing. So I got them at number 8. At number 9, I got the Detroit Lions. Again, they're kind of like the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Like, look good, but then they have these weird head scratching losses, like the Thanksgiving Day loss against the Bears. Now they got to get some get back today. They're on the road. But the Lions, offensively, they're getting it done, but defensively still kind of shaky. So I got them at number 9, but still one of the better teams in the league. And then the Cleveland Browns, although they don't have a quarterback, Joe Flacco actually played really well last week, and they probably should have won that game. Despite losing it, Joe Flacco stepped in and played really well. So I still like their chances. Now they're not going to make a deep run because you still need a quarterback, like a legit guy back there. But they have some of the best talent on offense and defense in the National Football League that we really don't know about because they can't really get it going to where we can see them in that light. So, but I got them rounding off my list at top 10. Or at 10, excuse me, for my power rankings for this week. So, yeah, some things have switched up. So, let me know what you guys think. Let's get to some comments real quick before we move on to the preview. So, Patrick says, Eagle fans were screaming Super Bowl after the close wins when they lost. It's just a regular season game, and it doesn't count. Cry, Eagles, cry. Yeah, excellent point. I agree. Ravens are the most complete team in the AFC. Houston is sneaky good team with CJ Stroud. Jacksonville will have a tougher path. You know what? I would be interested to see the Texans get in the playoffs. I think they may cause some trouble for somebody, for sure, because they're so young. They don't know. Like, they're dumb. Like, I mean this in a weird, good way. Like, they don't know the pressures. They just like, these are young guys out there just balling, right? And when your quarterback is just throwing it the way CJ's doing it, man, like, that's a scary team for sure because they don't have any real expectations. No one thought they would even win this many games so far this year. So, shout out to them and what they're doing out there. Patrick says the NFC wild card for the 7th seed will likely be Green Bay, Minnesota, LA Rams have the toughest schedule to end the regular season. Yeah. I like what Green Bay's doing. Jordan Love is starting to figure it out there as well, too, man. He looked pretty good last week. Kansas City will fall like a lawn chair with a mid-tier offense. Defense has carried them, but it's going to be a tough road. Yep. Oh yeah. I think if the Dolphins can kind of hold serve here, and beat up on the rest of the AFC East, excuse me, they'll solidify themselves. They'll be up there with the Ravens for that number 1. But if I had to pick, I don't know, man. I like the Ravens, but that offense, though, that man, if they can figure it out, that offense is no joke with the Dolphins. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's take a look at some previews for some of these games. Not some of these games, all these games. So we're going to start with Carolina and New Orleans. I bet you Carolina is like kicking themselves in the ass. Like, damn, we could have had CJ Stroud and we didn't take him. We took Bryce Young. So, well, whatever. It is what it is. They should be tanking and get another quarterback this year because Bryce Young ain't it. A lot of people will probably tell, oh, well, he hasn't had a lot of chance and you don't have the talent. I just don't see it, man. I really don't. Even if he gets the time, I just don't see it. There's something about him that it doesn't resonate with me for a starting quarterback, but probably a nice kid. So hopefully it works out for him, man. I don't want to see him just flame out. But in regards today, the Saints should get this win. Now, Derek Carr, honeymoon in New Orleans, that's over with. I think Jameis Winston should be the starting quarterback there moving forward. Derek Carr, I backed him for a long time. He's okay. He's not the greatest. And I know Raider fans are like, yeah, see, right, he sucks. He's okay. He's okay. And the Raiders had other issues. But he's just not that guy, man. I mean, and it's okay. It's okay to say, at this point, he's be lucky just to be a backup somewhere. He just really isn't that dude. Um, so unfortunately for him, Jameis Winston is probably the better fit for the New Orleans Saints. That's probably why they kept him. So he should be the starter moving forward, I think, in my opinion. But for this game, I got the Saints winning at home. LA Rams taking on the Ravens. This should be an easy knockdown game for the Ravens. I got them winning easily against the Rams. Although the Rams have been putting up fights in their games, they're playing hard. I like what they're doing. Puka Nakua is the dude there. Cooper Kupp, I don't know what's going on with him. He got the bag. Now he's done. Injuries, and he's just not the same dude anymore. So we'll see. But Puka Nakua has definitely stepped up and helped that team out for sure. Clutch pick of the week here game. We got the Colts taking on the Bengals. The Bengals coming off of a phenomenal on the road win against Jacksonville in overtime. Jake Browning? First win as a starting quarterback in like 3 years, something crazy like that. Like, it's been a while since that brother has won a game as a starting quarterback. So shout out to him, University of Washington alum, Jake Browning. The Colts, again, one of those teams too, man. Like, they got some sneaky talent on that team, man. If they can get healthy again, Anthony Richardson, I know, out the year. Gardner Minshew trying his best. Now, this is going to be a close game, but I got the Bengals at home winning this game. I feel like they're a little bit more cohesive on offense. So I got them winning that's my first clutch pick of the week. So I got the Bengals winning that game. And then we got the Browns taking on the Jags on the road. Now, we don't know. Trevor Lawrence is still, I don't know, questionable, but it's a game time decision. He hasn't been ruled out completely, but I still like the Browns. Either way, I think, even if Trevor Lawrence is healthy, how good is that? How good is that ankle for him to be moving around, especially with the likes of Myles Garrett running around there getting after you? I like the Browns to win this game, and keep it pushing there. All right, Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears, a rematch of Thanksgiving Day. The Bears really put it on the Lions. The Lions really, man, I had picked them to win, and I was like, damn, I knew it. I shouldn't have did it. But here I am again, a couple weeks later. I'm going back with the Lions to win this game. You guys, I swear to God, Lions, you guys better win this game. Okay? If not, I'm never picking you ever again, because I'm sick and tired of you guys. Anytime I pick you, you guys blow it. So you better win this game tonight or today or else. That's it. All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Falcons, a battle for, I guess, the NFC South. I mean, the Falcons are, I think, at top of the leaderboard there. This division's so weird. But the Falcons are good at home, man. I'm going to go with them. Every time I pick against them, I always feel the wrath of it. So I'm going to go with the Falcons this time to get the win. So, yeah, no real logic behind it. I just think, yeah, they're pretty decent at home, I guess. I don't really watch a lot of Falcons football, unfortunately. Not really a lot of reason to watch Falcons football, to be honest with you. Not great quarterback play in this game. All these games don't really have a lot of great quarterback play. They're either hurt or the quarterbacks aren't really that good. So that's kind of a bummer for me. I like watching really good quarterbacks play the position. And today is really not a lot of that going on. So, but shout out to them. All right, Falcons get that win. All right, Texans versus the Jets. Do I even need to say who's winning this game? Right? Or who I think should win the game or will win the game? But I'll say it anyway. I'm going with the Texans. CJ Stroud, let me do it. Let's go. You're gonna be doing that all in New York tonight or New Jersey, wherever the hell that stadium's at, right? I like the Selly Cell dance and CJ Stroud to get the win against the Jets, because the Jets cannot score. The Jets literally are allergic to scoring, right? I read the medical note right here. It says Jets have a condition where they cannot score points because they are allergic to points. They can't score. And the Texans can, so I got the Texans winning that game on the road in New York. Then my third clutch pick of the week, I got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Justin Jefferson should be suiting up today, right? Will it be enough? He's been out a while. I don't know if he's got his conditioning going, but I like the Raiders because they're at home. I think Antonio Pierce is going to get this job. And I think he is. I think they've shown enough so far in the last couple of weeks that he deserves a chance of a full season. Now we'll see what happens with them, but I like what the Raiders are doing there with him. We'll see, but I like the Raiders to win the game on the road, even with Justin Jefferson back in the lineup potentially today. So I got the Raiders. Moving on, San Francisco at home taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Another rematch of a Thanksgiving Day matchup. Now, this game was never really in doubt, but Seattle, they tried to make it sporting a little bit. But at the end of the day, the San Francisco 49ers just wore them out. They were the better team that night. And I think they'll continue to be the better team. I like the San Francisco 49ers to dominate the Seattle Seahawks. A well-rested Seattle team, mind you, that they played last week Thursday, so they should be rested to go. But I think the San Francisco 49ers, this is a prime spot for a letdown, for sure. But I don't think they will. I think they're going to build off that momentum, the ass kicking that they gave to the Philadelphia Eagles, and they were going to be feasting on some other birds this week, which would be the Seattle Seahawks. So I got the Niners winning this game. Now, another big matchup takes us to the AFC in Arrowhead. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. No Isaiah Pacheco. The Chiefs coming off of a Sunday night loss to Green Bay in Lambeau last week, Sunday night. The Bills coming off of a bye week prior to that, losing to the Eagles in a game that they probably should have won that game if it wasn't for a heroic Jake Elliott field goal. I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs still. They're at home. They're going to find a way. I don't know how, but I'm not going to count these guys out. These are the defending champs. I'm not going to count them out all the way yet. It's going to be tough. One thing I will say, Buffalo's defense isn't that great either. So I think the Chiefs have a chance. As long as Taylor Swift is there, she just got to chill, bro, and just let Travis Kelce do his thing and let him get loose back there. But they have no wide receivers, and that's unfortunate. So we'll have to see. But I'm going to take the Chiefs for my clutch pick of the week. And then to round up the afternoon games, you got the Denver Broncos taking on the Chargers. Broncos, I don't know, man. Like their streak was broken. Was it last week? Who did they play last week? Or I know they lost. Oh yeah, they did lose last week to the Texans in a close one. To the Texans. The Chargers. Listen, yeah, they had a good win the other night. Or was it Monday night they played their last game or something? Or did they lose? I forgot. I really forgot. I think they were on a bye week. But either way, I don't trust the Chargers in any spot. I'm going to go with the Broncos and dangerous Russell Wilson. I'm going to let him cook today. I'm going to take the Broncos over the LA Chargers. Just because, again, I don't trust Kellen Moore. They are wasting the talent of Justin Herbert there. Right? Look what have they done. And Brandon Staley, he's a lame duck. He's done. He's done after this year. If he comes back, then Charger fans, you need to just start putting in your requests and applications for other teams you need to support, because if Brandon Staley comes back as the coach, you guys have no shot at winning ever. And if Kellen Moore is even back next year, right? This offense looks like shit. it really does. Pardon my French on a Sunday morning, but geez, Justin Herbert looks like a shell of himself, right? So we'll have to wait and see. All right, we got some comments here real quick. Patrick says Kansas City. Well, no, we read that one. NFC South is so bad. Another team with a sub 500 will be the 4th seed, sadly. Yep. That's how it goes sometimes, man. Patrick also says a lot of controversy has swirled around the Buffalo last 2 weeks. I don't see them winning today. He says Charger fans were giddy about getting Kellen Moore. Cowboys fans warned them about him. It didn't work. Yeah, of course. Kellen Moore sucks. He sucks. He sucks as a coordinator. So we'll see. All right. Let's round these games off. So we got 2 Monday night games. I didn't realize that. I was looking at the schedule, but the big one tonight in Dallas, in Arlington, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Cowboys. I don't have a drum roll, but if I did, it would go brrr, Dallas Cowboys in a close one. Not being biased, maybe a little bit, because I can't stand those damn Eagles, although they're good. But I think it's going to be a close one. It's going to be whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. But I think it's going to be the Cowboys. I think they're going to make enough extra plays in the end to get the dub. I got the Cowboys to win this game. And hey, people, don't come after me, because guess what? People that know me or watch my show, I'm very objective. I don't always go with the Cowboys. I really don't. Sometimes I pick against them. All right. So I got the Cowboys. I'm being very objective. Disregard the hat. I'm being objective here. I like the Cowboys to win this game. And my boy Bryson Carver's in the show. He says, "Here we go." Greatest cadence right now. I like it better than Omaha. I mean, Omaha was popular back in the day with Peyton Manning. Omaha. but something about that. Yeah, here we go. Dude, you could put that on a CD, and I'll play that thing all day around the house. So I like that. But I got the Cowboys in a close one, though. In a close one. All right. Green Bay going to the not the Meadowlands, but New Jersey to take on the New York Giants with their quarterback, Mr. DeVito. I like the Packers. Jordan Love, I think they figured it out a little bit, what's going on over there. And that rookie wide receiver, Jaden Reed, has been phenomenal. I like the Packers to get the win on the double dip, the double header for Monday night. I got the Packers winning that game. And then finally, the last game of the week, the Tennessee Titans on the road in Miami. It's a no-brainer. I got the Dolphins winning this game. They're at home. The weather will be nice. Tua looking good. Tyreek Hill is going to probably put up over 100-something yards. You know, really, this guy's like 500 yards away from getting 2,000 yards. That's never been done before. And he'll get it this year. So that'll be history in the making. Hell, he might even get it this game. We'll see. But I like the Dolphins to win that game to close out the week. So, all right, let's get to the clutch recap of the clutch picks of the game. And I do this every week. I think StreamYards is deleting this thing. I swear to God, I'm putting it up here. This graphic gets loaded every week, and for whatever reason, it like deletes it. But come on, StreamYards, do better. All right, while that's loading up real quick. We got any new comments? Excuse me. Yeah, Patrick says, we need Micah to dominate. Got to play a clean game from start. Yes, they do. And they got to watch the holding. And one thing the rest got to watch is that damn Lane Johnson. He literally is false starting every damn play. He's kick stepping way before that ball is snapped. So, refs, you're watching the game, please be on the lookout for that. All right, because that's an advantage. All right. Recap of the clutch picks of the week. Let me get this comment out of here. We got the Bengals at home to take on the Colts. They should get that win. I got the Raiders at home to get the win against Minnesota. The Browns on the road in Jacksonville with Joe Flacco to get the win. And I got the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the disgruntled Buffalo Bills at home. I've been 3-1 the last 2 weeks, man. I'm back at 500. I'm trying to get over 500, man. I'm almost there. My goal was to finish the season over 500. And I'm still in the fight there. I'm still in the fight. So it's tough because I only picked 4 games a week, and really like weeks 3 and 4 really screwed me, man. I went 0-4 like those 2 weeks, and I've been trying to catch up to that the whole damn time. But I'm trying my best, y'all. I'm trying my best. This stuff is not easy to pick games, as you guys would know. If you ever tried gambling, hell, that's why it's called gambling, because it's difficult. Anyway, man, I'm out of here. But listen, I want to get a show off next week, but I will be traveling. I won't be available, so I may have to pre-record it. If not, clutch picks of the weeks will be out for sure next week. As far as the show is concerned, maybe I'll just do a quick live where I'm at Sunday morning before I get my day going on my vacation, because I like doing this. So be on the lookout for that, for any updates on that. Real last comment before we get out of here. Bryson Carver says, Dak puts a stronghold on the MVP tonight against a bad defense in Philly. I need something to go my way after the Steelers didn't even show up again. Don't even listen. Steelers, they're, I don't know. Talk about allergic to scoring as well. They're in there too. They were, as a matter of fact, when I was walking past the medical offices, I saw them in the same waiting room with the Jets. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. So they need to get a shot for that. Appreciate you. He says, great show, my guy. I appreciate you, Bryson. Check him out too as well. But that's all I got, man. I like this jam right here, man. You know what I'm saying? The little beat. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Happy holidays. Let's go, Cowboys. Yeah! Here we go. This is Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday. Wake up with me, your boy, Ryan Flowers. Never settle. Till the work is done. I'll see you guys. Peace.